Good afternoon, everybody in the Secret Beach. Hello, Secret Beachcombers. How the heck are you? It is I, Jason T. Smith, your big kahuna, and today we are talking about how to take great eBay photos. Yes, my assistant Sophia likes to lift up skirts on plush animals and take pictures of their undies. Because, you know why? You need to see every angle of everything you're selling. Because if you have that customer that says, hey, man, there's a hole in the back of this, and you don't got a picture of the back, you are just SOL, shit out of luck. So today we're going to talk about kind of like, this can be like a two-faceted thing. Tools you should have and how your pictures should look. Now, this is all coming from me. When I say me, what I mean is I'm just a dude who has been selling for a long time on eBay and then has just kind of figured stuff out over the years. I have no professional training. I have attended Griff's talk at the different eBay functions. I've attended other talks. And I have some idea how to do a little bit of editing, which we're going to show you a live demonstration at the end. And I just, you know, as time went on, I see listings and I see, well, geez, the picture could look better because of this. And so I put my theories to work and they look good and they're better. So what we're going to do in a couple months, just so you can let this soak and absorb, is I'm going to have a real photographer come on and we'll get a little nerdier. Now, not everyone's going to go nerdy. Some of you might only be using your phone, which is perfectly fine. But for those of you who want to go a little nerdier, we're going to talk like color theory, white balance, because some of you, I hope some of you, are going to take it to that next level. I could and should, but I run out of time. But funny enough, setting up for this today, Sophia, my lovely assistant, who's right here. Hey, Sophia. She did something that we have never done before, just as an idea, and I like it. Like, I'm going to use it in my pictures now. And that's what I want you to take away from this. Some of this might seem elementary, but I hope at some point today you're going to be like, a light bulb moment. Because her doing something today is something like, oh, we should have been doing that all along. I really like that. And that's how another tip is, a lot of the stuff that I have kind of developed, a lot of it came from assistants who just, you know, once they got taught what to do. And if you haven't watched How to Hire and What to Do an Assistant webinar, make sure you go back and watch that after this one. What to do is I let them run. Once they learn the norm, then they can take different angles. And some of the pictures you're going to see today are things that Sophia took and some other assistants that they thought, okay, this is the way Jason wants it, but I think it looks better this way. And usually they're right. Usually they're right. So let's get right to it. Without further ado, our presentation. Now, before we, or actually, I forget which order I'm doing this in. Okay, yeah. So here is the big problem. Where do you put your photo studio in your house? Now, we're going to talk about houses that have some room, because mine does. And then at the end of the presentation, I also have some pictures and some slides for you for houses or apartments that don't have a lot of room, and what you got to make do with what you've got. I know we've got 20 of you watching live right now. I know some of you live in decent-sized houses. I know some of you live in a motorhome on the road. Hello, Mary. So you've got to be creative with your space. Now, I had two different photo studios in the house. This is upstairs. These are the double doors into our bedroom, and I used to create the backdrop and put up the lights right in front of the door because it was this nice open spot. And I'm going to spill it myself. And it looked good. I had enough room to stand back, because you need some room to stand back with your camera and your tripod. But the problem is, it's the door to my bedroom. So guess what had to be dismantled every single night? So as you can see, there it is, just into my messy, unmade bedroom. So then I thought, well, I got another idea. I'm going to move my dining room table out of the way. I'm going to set my backdrop in front of this window, and I'm going to shoot in the dining room. Now, of course, that's fine because I don't use my dining room on a daily basis. But when we had guests over, I had to dismantle everything. And what started to happen was the high traffic of having someone there all day long walking back and forth was really messing up the carpet. Now, what the mess you see now is Stacy's office. She has moved into the dining room. So luckily I had moved out. So one day I am taking a shower, and in my master bathroom, the shower and the bathtub are separate. And why it took me this long to have this epiphany, I have no idea. But as I'm taking my shower, I think about something. And what I think about is, I'm going to show you. All right. Pause for a second. I think I closed out what I was going to show you. I was all ready, and then I think as I was cleaning up my my windows, I closed the wrong thing. So quick second. And some of you who have not seen this video before, you will get a good laugh. Others who have seen it, you'll probably laugh still. So
Hi, this is Jason.
This is a video I did a long time ago. So let me share it with you. All right. So share the entire screen. Play. Okay. Oops. There we go.
Smith, the sexy half of Thrifting with the Boys. And today I'm going to talk about building a photo studio in an often unused part of your home. Now, I don't take bubble baths too often, so I thought that is where I would build my photo studio. But before that, I thought I would take one more. So I had a little glass of wine, catch up on some light reading, a little sexy candlelight, and then prepare to turn it into a more productive corner of the house. First thing I did was I cleaned out the bathtub, dried it out, made sure it was ready to go. I then removed all the extra accoutrement from around the tub, headed over to Home Depot, found a nice piece of plywood to cover the bathtub hole, built my 2 tripods on top of it to add my photo gray cloth backdrop. The backdrop is a little thin, as you can see the light shining through the windows. So I added a second backdrop behind that, making it nice and dark so you don't see that extra light. And moving all this around, my backdrop got a little wrinkly. So I grabbed my handheld $5 steamer that I got at Savers, steamed the backdrop, and if you look behind this picture, you can see how nice the backdrop turned out. On either side of the mannequin, I have 2 nice giant light boxes, giving it a lot of light. Speaking of mannequins, I have a whole army, everything from big girl to small man, and everything in between. My most used mannequin is my t-shirt mannequin. I just bought a new one, but it did not have a base. So it was kind of a pain to move it around. I found a very nice heavy-duty $10 wooden Lazy Susan at an estate sale. We glued it to the bottom, and now it is real easy to turn the mannequin front to back and back again. And then the last piece was I just added today a nice giant light box to the front of the mannequin. Really light it up nice. They look really good on my listing, and now I'm using...
All right, so that was a video I did quite a while ago because I was still thrifting with the boys, and that was even before Thrift Hunters. But what I wanted to show you was taking the shower. I look at my bathtub, and I'm like, duh, we don't take baths. So I found the unused. Hey, turn the ceiling fan on. I found the unused corner of our house. And if you have maybe a 2-story house or over 2,500 square feet, you might have an unused. Now, if you have like 42 kids, you might not. But you might have this one unused corner where you're like, duh, that's my photo studio. So let's get back into it. And so that is a shot of what you just saw on that video. That's my photo studio. So the equipment there, and what we're going to do today is, as you see toolbox alert, these are the pieces of equipment you should have in your photo studio at your house. Okay. So the first toolbox alert is the lighting. Now I'm pointing up, and I'll show you a picture of what the up is in a second, but these are the big light boxes. Some people use the umbrellas. Some people use natural light. If you live where Katie lives, and hey, Katie's helping us out today down below there. If you have any questions in the chat, Debbie, who's our usual question wrangler, is at eBay today with Robin and Teresa. And so Katie was gracious enough to fill in. So if you have any questions, Katie will send them over to me, and I'll answer all questions at the end. So thank you, Katie. But if you live someplace where it's gray quite often, Cleveland, Seattle, Portland, you can take good pictures in outside on overcast days. Do not take pictures in full sun. It will really change the coloring of the picture. And if you take nothing else away from today, realize this, and I'm going to put myself on the screen so I can really look deep into you. You want the color of your item to be as true as possible, because if the customer gets it and thinks it's purple and it was actually blue, you're going to have an unhappy customer, and you never, ever want that. Even if they don't leave you with negative feedback, even if they don't do any harm to you in your ratings, the fact that you had an unhappy customer is bad for you. It's bad for me. It's bad for all of us who sell online. So you always want to have happy customers. Full bright light is not good, bright sun, but overcast is. It gives it a pretty much true color. Also, we're going to talk a little bit of editing at the end of this thing. Do not over edit. Do not make it way prettier than it actually is. Make it accurate, but don't make it way prettier. So you want it to be very, very accurate. So I use the box lights, and the light bulbs I use are 5500K. They're daylight bulbs specifically for taking pictures. And then the backdrop I bought on eBay, I think many, many years ago. This backdrop was called Photo Gray. It came with the 2 tripods to set it up. And the Photo Gray is a very neutral gray. When you use white and black, which we're going to talk about, it does alter the colors a little bit. Gray is pretty much nondescript, and it just disappears. So look for Photo Gray backdrop. And then a tripod. Especially if you cannot hold your phone or your camera steady, you need a tripod. Now, Sophia uses the, I'm going to say Sophia most of the time because Sophia does all the pictures for me. She'll do the tripod for the clothing when they're on the mannequins, for instance. But if she's got to come up close and take a quick snapshot of the tag, she will hold it by hand. But you should have a tripod, especially if you're going to do, like, say, 100 items in a row, and each item's getting like 5, 6, 10, 12 pictures. It's a lot of work. So having a tripod, have it set. Now, going back to what I was saying, how you want your pictures to be accurate. Anytime you change the plane of light to your item, the coloring will change. So if you're set up on that tripod and you start snapping pictures and then you change the area where the tripod is, or if you walk in front of a light and you're blocking part of the light, you've now changed the beam of light to your item, and it will change the coloring. So you must stay constant from a constant distance. Now, when she does take the camera off, you got the camera? Thank you. When she does take the camera off the tripod, she's going in for that shot of the label. The label shot is just to see the label. And so that is not one of your pretty beauty shots. So if the coloring's a little off in the label, I have found that not to be a problem. But you don't want the coloring to be different on the back of the shirt, for instance, than it is in the front of the shirt because you stepped halfway in front of one of your lights. So make sure that you don't change the plane of light to your item. I hope that makes sense, but that's where you get different looking things. And I don't normally take questions now, but I did see Susan say I have light boxes that have 4 of those bulbs in there each. Yeah, I didn't mention that. All of those light boxes have 4 bulbs in it. So I have 2 on the upside, on the top, on the right, and the left. And this is a big one that's right in front here that the arrow's pointing to, face going up. So that eliminates all the shadows. And that's the other key, too, is you don't really want a lot of shadows. But if you have light sources coming from all angles, no shadows. Now, what I was pointing to up top was, and this is another one of them light bulb moments, no pun intended, there is recessed lighting in my bathroom. And for the longest time, I had a normal bulb in there, and that normal bulb gave off a yellow hue compared to these other lights. Now, with these 3 big lights, it didn't really matter that much. But then one day I'm looking at it, I'm like, duh, why don't I just put one of the 5500K bulbs up there? So now I have a little bit of a light source of the same coloring shooting straight down. And Mary says, mine has one. What's the benefit to having 4? More light on your subject. So instead of having 3, because I have 3 light boxes, I have 12. Actually, no, the one has 5. So I have 4, 8, 13 lights diffused onto my objects and gives it a nice look. All right. So this is the camera I currently use. You can use phones. We are going to talk about this. This is a really nice camera. It's not super expensive, maybe a couple $100. It is the Canon PowerShot. Here, I'll show you the PowerShot. XS700HS. Oops. And it has Wi-Fi built in, so you can send the photos right to your computer. Now, when you're using an actual camera, this is the setting you need because, as you heard me talk 1,000 times, your pictures should be square. If they're not square, eBay only gives you a square space. So if you have a rectangular up and down picture or across, so vertical or horizontal, you're going to have white bars on either side or top and bottom. If you have a square photo, it fills the eBay space perfectly. So if you don't have a square photo, you're just giving up real estate. Like, why not use the whole thing? It's like owning a house and only living in one room. Like, you use multiple rooms. You don't shower, cook, and sleep in the same room. Now, Mary Lucas does, but the rest of us probably do not. So 1-to-1 is the ratio for a square setting. So make sure that has it. Not every digital camera has the 1-to-1 setting. So make sure when you're looking, 4-to-3 is kind of close, but it ain't. It's not square. And that would be a normal setting. I don't know why all cameras don't have this, but 1-to-1 is what you want. Okay, so this is a class I taught a couple of years ago, and a picture is worth 1,000 words. And we can get 1,000 words out of this picture, My mouth is never closed. Some of these ladies are doing some great acting on being scared because Don is holding the Ouija board. Heather, who's right above my head, is obviously, she's like, yeah, I don't want any part of these shenanigans. But this picture will tell you everything you need to know about what's happening here. Now, when I want you to take good photos, what I want you to remember is you are not Ansel Adams. So you do not have to come out with a picture this good. Nor are you Bunny Yeager. And this is a little something for the fellas. Bunny Yeager was like the main Playboy photographer and the main photographer for Betty Page. And I'm a huge Betty Page fan. And something for the ladies, you don't have to be Herb Ritts either. So keep that in mind, that we're just trying to get good quality photos to sell our items. So you do not have to go this artistic. All right, so a picture speaks 1,000 words. Sadly, these following photos are only worth 3 words, and the 3 words are "don't buy me." Because if you have crappy photos, it turns off your buyers. This is a piece of Pyrex, which I know some of you love and some of you collect. And when I first put this picture in the first time I used this in a presentation, I was told, well, yeah, people want to see the light through it to see for cracks and stuff, which is fine. However, the light changes the color of this Pyrex, and this was their lead photo. If you don't know this by now, some customers never look past your lead photo. So although we've worked hard and set up our photo studio and had the perfect lighting and had the great tripod and a great camera, they look at picture number 1 and they don't ever look at anything else and they buy it. So if someone looks at this picture number 1, they might think this is yellow, when in actuality, this is the real color. So make sure you lead with the right photo. Yes, put that picture in of the light source underneath it so people can see, but make sure you lead with the actual coloring. Okay, this is a great dress by I'm drawing a blank. It sucks getting old, kids. Do we have any of the sparkly jackets in there? Lawrence Kazar. Thank you very much, Lawrence Kazar. Now, to you right now, this looks blue or aquamarine. I'm going to show you the actual color of this dress. Now, I had a similar dress to this one. It's not the exact same pattern, but I know this dress and I know what the actual color is. Here is what the actual color of this dress is. It is actually this emerald green. And so the problem is that other seller did not take the time to edit their photos properly. You don't always have to edit, but some colors you do. So if you take the photo and it comes out not right in terms of coloring, you must then go in and edit and fix the color. That dress should have been green. That customer is going to be shocked when they get a dress they think is aquamarine and it's emerald green. Now, along the same lines, when you're taking photos of clothing, hanging on the closet like you just wore it last night and it's Saturday morning is not the way to sell a dress. I know ladies who are watching right now, there ain't nothing attractive about this dress hanging on the closet. But if you have a mannequin, you can take some nice photos. Now, this dress happened to have, it was a 2-piece set dress with some pants. And so we wanted to demonstrate both pieces at the same time in the photo. And so mannequin with a dress on the left, hanger on the rack on the back with the pants on the right. And so here is our next toolbox alert. Get some mannequins. Now, I have sourced my mannequins from 1,000 different places. The big girl on the right is from Savers, and she was like $20. The smaller girl on the left, the blue denim one, was from Joann Fabrics when they were doing some crazy sales where it was like, I don't know, $30. So you can get them at Joann Fabrics. They're not real heavy duty. You can always find them on thrift stores. You can find them in Craigslist. And here in Vegas, we have a store, there's a mannequin store that sells their used scratch and dent mannequins. So not every city is going to have that, but that's just an added place to find them. So keep your eyes peeled and have an army. If you've got the space, I sell big girls' dresses and I sell small girls' dresses. And so if I only had a big mannequin, I couldn't put the small girl dresses on it. If I had a small mannequin, I could put the big girl dresses on it, but it wouldn't look as good. You want to fill out. So you should have multiple mannequins. All right. So let's talk about shoes because we're in the kind of clothing genre. This was a lead photo for shoes. Not only is it boring, it's blurry. And this was the second photo for the shoes. Yeah, let's look at the bottom of them, and we're going to set them on the landing of the upstairs of our house. And if you look to the top above the right shoe, that's the male the postal mail coming upstairs that's sitting on the stairs waiting to come upstairs. I don't want to see your mail in the background. That is not a quality photo. But this is, and however, Sophia sitting next to me, she doesn't know I'm allowed to say this. I would have had these tied up. So everything is good about this photo, except I would have had it tied up for sure. But as you can see, most people make the mistake of they put both shoes straight on in their first picture. And what I just teach you, no one gets past the first picture. If this is our first picture, you can see the front of the shoe. You can see the top of the shoe. You can see the side of the shoe, and you can see how big the heel is all in one picture. If you are selling two items of identical items, and when I say identical, granted, I know one's a left and one's a right, give them different angles so people can see different things in the first shot. Here's a little stylistic thing I did with some men's shoes. We can see how deep or how high the heel is. We can see the front, we can see the side, and we can see in the shoe. Now, of course, as I go on into the listing, I have shots straight down, side, back, bottom, top, all the rest. But this is our opening shot, so you can see multiple angles. And then this is something Sophia kind of did on her own. Yay, Sophia. So she didn't tie the shoes in the first one, but this was cool that she added a second level. So again, kind of a different little look. And the other key, don't forget to turn off the water. Thank you. The other key, see you tonight. The other key is to give different angles and to look different than your competition. So many people do that straight on shoe shot that is horribly boring and doesn't show enough. Try and be artistic when you can. Now, if you're putting a t-shirt on a mannequin, there's nothing you can do artistically about that. But shoes, you can be artistic because you have two of the same item. Now, here's another one that Sophia had taken pictures of, and I didn't care for how they looked. It was fine, but I got an idea. I sent her back. These are roll down Doc Martens. I want this straight on front and back, just like this. And so now we're seeing the front, we're seeing the back, we're seeing one up, and we're seeing one down, all in one shot. So if our customers never get past one shot, they know everything they need to know. Now, I hope they do, but we got to always bank on they don't read past the title and picture number one. Always bank on that. Now, one thing I did add to the arsenal, and we haven't used it a ton yet because I haven't bought shoes in a while, is female and male mannequin feet that I found at a Macy's going out of business, or Kmart, or one of them. So it adds a little dimension. Now, the girls will be nice when you're doing heels and stuff. It'll make it look a little better, and then Sophia could have tied it up real nice on that first shot. And then another tool, two tools. So there's the box. The box is just a plain 10x4x4, but that's the box Sophia's using to put the shoes on the next level up right behind the front shoe. So just get a little box. And that's a Lazy Susan. This comes in handy when you're doing multiple angles on, say, a mannequin, like especially if you're doing like a dress or a pantsuit or something. You don't get all these angles. Set your mannequin on the Lazy Susan. That's a pretty hefty one. And then just rotate the Lazy Susan to every angle you need. So instead of rotating the mannequin or picking it up, and not all of you are 6'5" and 258 pounds. You're not all big and strong. And so try and think of ways to make it easy. Set your mannequin on out Lazy Susan. And you don't even need to see the Lazy Susan because the picture isn't going to be that low, but it lets you rotate it nice and easy. Now, we're still talking about clothes. When you do pants, this person has one of them little boxes to put the small stuff in, little light boxes. And so they're doing it with their pants, and then they're bending the knees the wrong way. It is not attractive. The light's blown out, and the picture on the right is two problems, twofold. A, get your hand out of the picture. B, their lighting is so blown out, they're showing you a tag that has something on it, but we can't see it because the lighting's blown out, yet they still use these pictures to list. That's what blows my mind. Hey, where's my little block of wood that I usually use for my mom? Bang head here. Why would you put a picture that is so blown out you can't read it? That's crazy. Now, how I do pants is I do one shot of the ass cheek, not the full pants, because here's another thing you should recall. If you leave with nothing else today, leave with this also. People still shop on iPhone 4s. I got a 7 Plus. It's a pretty big phone. Those of us who are still shopping on tiny little phones, my assistant just left. She's got a 5. That's a smaller phone. If you had something long and skinny like pants or a dress or a necktie, doing a straight shot of the whole thing, it doesn't show you much, but if you do a nice close-up like this, it shows you a lot. These are polka dot loudmouth pants. There's a loudmouth logo. There's the polka dots. This listing lasted exactly 3.5 minutes before it sold. So pretty good sale. Here is a pair of Rubber Graham pants. Now, what I'm showing is you can see the design on the pocket and you can see the label. That's all you need. Now, the rest of the pictures will show everything else, but this is how I do it. And then this was a pair of Coogis that had a whole little pirate theme. Now, the other pocket was a little bit different, but boom, this catches your eye. Cross swords, skull. By the way, if you don't know, that's called a Jolly Roger. And you definitely want that in your title when you're selling anything with a Jolly Roger on it. You want to catch people's eye and get them excited, like, oh, look at these cool jeans. I got to go look further. And then, of course, I do the whole shot of the whole pants. Duh. But, you know, that should not be your lead photo. But also what I want to show you is there's another tool. So on my backdrop, I just got a little pants hanger. I mean, a little over-the-door hanger for hangers. And then I use a nice little pants hanger. And that's how I do my pants. Now, you could do a leg mannequin. It is a lot of extra work. It's a lot of extra wrestling. I'm cool with just having it hang there and take some nice pictures. Okay, let's talk hats. Here's what not to do. I don't know if it's going to show up well on the YouTube screen, but there is a lot of little hairs on this hat, and the hat's just laying on someone's bed. That is not attractive nor enticing me to want to buy this. So, to combat that, what you want is a mannequin head. And the key to the mannequin head is angles. If you take your picture straight on with the mannequin head when you're doing hats, it flattens it out. If you give it a little bit of turn, like especially this top photo here, you can now see the curve underneath. You can really get a feel for the curve of the hat. And back to our little toolbox bolo, I have two mannequins, male and female. Now, the male I picked up at a thrift store for like $7.99. It's heavy duty. It's hardcore. The female, you can pick up at Michael's. You can pick up at Savers coming up at Halloween time. They're usually like $3.99. They're styrofoam. They're cheap. So get it. And also, if you're doing glasses, eye or sunglasses, use your mannequin. Take a lot of pictures on just on the table too, but use your mannequin so people can see how it rests on the face. Now, another thing that I don't know if I had the epiphany or one of my assistants did, but I have a full body mannequin. So head to the bottom of neck to the bottom of the knee. So when we do full suits like snowsuits, we pull on the full mannequin. And when things have hoods, one day one of us was like, maybe we should just throw the light styrofoam head on the mannequin. And we did. Now, of course, you might have a mannequin with a head. That works even better. But if you don't and you have a $3.99 styrofoam head, throw it up there and put the picture in with the hood up. Take a picture with the hood down, but also take a picture with the hood up. Now, this hood, for some whatever weird reason, was also meant to be zipped all the way up, even though there's no eye holes. So then we also took a picture of it zipped all the way up. Now, here's a full shot of the mannequin with it on there. It's not really a square picture because it's so tall and long, but as you can see, I still have that shot. I don't ignore that shot. I just don't lead with that shot. I led with the cropped to the chest, head up, head on the mannequin, hood up. Most of your competitors won't ever put the hood up, and hoods are not all the same. Some are like tight to short to here, and some are like full coming over. And so I can imagine people who love hoodies want to see where it hits. Now, here's some other tools you should have at the ready. Hair dryer. I try and get all price stickers off before they go over to Sophia in the photography land of my bathroom. Sometimes I miss. So the hair dryer is handy to get the price tags off. She is pretty good with a needle and thread, so she has one at the handy when doing clothes, because although I've looked them over in the thrift store, I might not notice as one button is about to fall off or this little tear in the seam, so she can do repairs on the fly. And we do have a variety of cleaning products, water being one of them, Goo Gone being another, Undo being another. You know, as you take a picture, you should be kind of keeping an eye on what's coming through the viewfinder. And if you see like sticky residue from a price tag that you didn't notice the first time, then make sure you're ready to clean it, and you should have all that stuff handy in the photo studio. All right, we're still talking clothes. This is how I used to do bras. And the one tip I want to give you about doing bras that aren't fully filled out look sad and deflated. And ladies, I'm sure you don't want to buy sad and deflated bras. So the key is air pillows, but the other key is try and find air pillows that are A, clear, and B, don't have any writing on them. But this fills out the boobs very nicely. And The reason I say clear is one day I was doing we were doing a lace bra, and my male assistant Jeremy put in a clear air pillow on one side and a green one on the other. So I started getting questions from potential customers. Why is the bra green only on one side? And I was like, what? And then I realized he had put in a green air pillow. So air pillows are not just for packing. They're also for bras. However, I don't do the bras anymore like this. I do the lead photo on an angle. I think it really shows the curvature of the boob and how big it's going to be. And I tend to like it better this way. Now, ladies, if you think you like the straight on shot as lead shot better, please let me know. I don't wear bras, although I am big girl, but I like this shot better. Here's what not to do. Okay, this is just hanging sad on a hanger. And prepare yourselves. This is safe for work, but this is a little PG-13 coming up here. This was the not the lead photo in a listing. This was the second photo. This was the lead photo in this bra listing on eBay. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, let me show you how the bra looks really live and in person on my boobs. Obviously, that is a no-no unless you're angling for a different crowd. If you're just selling bras, I recommend not using the live model. Now, I had no other place to really jam this in, so I just wanted to show it in here. Yeah, keep your pets out of your pictures. I am definitely allergic to cats. Now, you might have a cat in your house, but I certainly don't want to see a cat rubbing up against some boots that I might be purchasing, or a dog. A Tochin never makes it into my pictures. So keep that in mind. All right, let's talk purses. This is the same listing. As you can see, hanging on a hanger looks kind of sad. And obviously the second photo was way out of focus. And then this was their third photo. A nice close-up. But I don't know. I don't know if this is going to show up well on YouTube. It probably will. The lower left corner, they're in the shadows. They're standing in front of their light source. So they're in the shadows. So all that is horribly wrong. Here's what you do. And this was another one of them. Oh, duh, light bulb moments. I didn't do this for a long time. We started throwing the purses that can hang on a shoulder or crossbody on the mannequins. Because when I buy Merces, male purses, I like mine to hang real low, like Han Solo's blaster low in his hip. And being tall, I need to see where it's going to hit me. If it hits me above my waistline, I don't want that. I want it below my waistline. It's really hard for me to find them, but I do find them. So we started using mannequins to show how it hangs on the shoulder. Then also, I did some bad editing. My bad. That purse that just went by real quick, it was nice and thick and full. If you remember the bad example I showed you, the purse was thin and flat because they put nothing in it. Here's another shot, though, of a purse hanging on the shoulder from the front and from the... Oh, good gosh, I did a bad job on this one slide. Sorry, guys. But this is the packing material that is always handy in the photo studio to fill the purses up. That is a huge, huge key. If you take a picture of a purse of it flat and sad, like the bras, no one's going to be excited. Put some stuff in it. Don't overstuff it, but put some stuff in it to give your purse some heft, or it looks like it has some heft. All right, selling sports coats. Thrown on the bed with other clothes to the right, your 3-ring binders in the back, and your bedspread just not looking good nor professional. Again, that's where a mannequin comes in handy. And here's a little bonus point. When you have a sports coat, a polo shirt, a t-shirt, anything that has something on one side, like there is just a pocket on the one side of this jacket with a patch, your first shot is angle your mannequin towards the camera. So everyone takes the straight on shot, which you're going to want to do too. But for your first photo, oops, actually go this way, angle it towards the camera. Okay. So you're putting what you want the customer to see closer to their eye. And that is really, really important because they're going to see that a little better. Here's an example of what not to do with Hawaiian shirts or any button-down shirts. Okay, yeah, I don't want to see your backyard with your patio furniture and the little tchotchkes you have on top of your TV, nor do I want to see your TV. I just want to see the shirt. So there's the front, and there's the back. Here is how I do any button downs. We use a mannequin because it makes it look better. The first shot is a close-up. This is the quadrant I like. It shows the collar. It shows the buttons. It shows to the pocket area. because again, think of people shopping on a small phone. This really maximizes the square space. Then the second picture will be the full shot of the shirt. My third picture is a full shot of the back. My fourth picture is a nice close-up of just the print. Oh, and then my last picture would be the tag. Now, this one has a panel going down the whole right side, which I'll show you in a second. But I felt, again, I angled it to the camera and just wanted to do a close-up of the top because on the phone, this will look cooler than this. Now, here's a full shot. It's a cool shirt, but I felt that tight crop and then angling towards the camera really gave a much better photograph. Now, when I do t-shirts, if you are buying a t-shirt, no matter what language you speak, you know what a t-shirt is. You know what it looks like. You know how it's cut. So you do not need a shot of the full t-shirt as your first picture. This was the artwork on the back of the shirt, but this is the most important artwork. This t-shirt sold for a lot of money. So I want to catch people's eyes with the Fat Records logo. And then I did a close-up of the front. Again, I angled it towards the camera and towards the customer. And then I have a full shot of the front and a full shot of the back. However, I do see some Atocha hairs on there, and I will be talking to Sophia tomorrow morning about making sure she gets all the Atocha hairs off. Oh, and actually, I don't think I have a picture of it. It just dawned on me. You should always have a lint roller right next to your photo studio, especially if you have pets. And pug is for sure. Have that handy. If nothing else is handy, you gotta have that lint roller. Get that pet fur off of there, or in my instance, get the beard hair. Male mannequins, another toolbox alert that you need is I have. Let me back up here. I have one without arms because it is much quicker to do t-shirts without the arms. On, snap, front, turn it to the back, snap, off, next one, quickly. If you have to do it with the arms, with a t-shirt, it'll take forever. However, when you have a button up, it is easy with arms, and I like arms better when you can use it. But a lot of our day is we need to cut time out. So if you use the arm one for t-shirts, it's going to take far too long. And then this is a little kids mannequin. I picked that up too. I don't sell a lot of little kids stuff, and obviously little kids are built the same way, so you don't need to worry about boobs like you do in a man's to a woman's. But I've done dresses, I've done little sweatshirts. So make sure that you have that if you're doing children's clothes. Now, let's go back to things not to do. Get your hands out of the pictures. I just don't understand. This hand does not need to be there. Now, if you do have a finicky label you're taking a picture of and it won't lay flat, all you do is take a piece of tape, make a little circle, and then stick it behind the label and it will lay flat. Get your fingers out of the picture. You do not see fingers in pictures in the Macy's catalog. Now, funny enough, I use this picture at Ecom Chicago, I think 2 years ago. And I go, look, I don't want your pictures in your photo at all, but if they're going to be there, make sure you don't have a busted manicure. And a member, one of the people in the group walked up to me afterwards and put his head down and went, that's my wife's fingers. Had no clue that the picture that I was using was somebody's spouse in the audience. But he goes, I'll talk to her. And again, you don't need to hold the book. You don't need to hold the sticker collection. Just lay them flat on your table and take a picture. There's no need for those hands to be in there. Now, I have no idea where else to put this, but I wanted to show you another one not to do. Real quick, what is this? What is this? And while we're waiting for this to catch up, I see someone said, or iron it carefully, like on the label. Yeah, but some labels have been bent for 30 years. Even ironing won't fix that problem. This was the lead photo for sale for this item, and it just there's so many things wrong here. Yep, Sabrina got it. It's an iPad. It's an iPad laying on a table. So what you're seeing is the kitchen lights up above, and they tried to wash it off the fingerprints, but all they did was smear it. And it's just, that is a horrible, that is a horrible lead picture. No one's going to want to buy that. Okay, luggage. Just a nice little straight on shot or even a little angle. And then we tried a little trickery this time. Not trickery, but something fun. Sophia's like, I'm having a hard time taking a picture of the mirror. I go, well, then don't try and hide. Put yourself right in the mirror. Make it fun. And even though everyone knows how a mirror works, we're using the mirror to show you that it is a mirror and it does work. Here's what not to do. Don't hold the luggage. Gosh, I don't want your fingers in the picture. I definitely don't want your whole body in the picture. Hey, Susan, go over there and hold this bag up. We'll take a picture. We'll put it on eBay. No. No, no, no. Now, there are rare times when a model is a good used. Remember that outfit I showed you earlier? This is a dress with a high slit and pants. And on the mannequin, it looked really nice, but to put it live into action required my friend Danny here. And so it looked a lot better. It was easier to show it. And of course, I have this tropical backyard setting. And so it really added a little bit of flair to it. Now, another thing where an actual live model came in handy, and this is where luckily I let my assistants be creative. This is called a flow board. This is a bonus bolo for you watching today. A flow board is like a skateboard, but way more dangerous because it has like 14 wheels. It's nutty. I tried to just put one foot on it, almost killed myself. Super dangerous. They sell for a lot of money. Okay. But we took the pictures in the photo studio and it looked just kind of boring. So he walked outside and said, I'm going to try this on the sidewalk. Looks much better. So there's that shot. Then this shot. And then he's flexible and talented. He got a good shot of himself on the skateboard. And so again, the flow board, excuse me. Again, that's where having a live model actually worked out. I like this shot. It put it into context much better than just taking photos of this in the photo studio. Now, here's a little asterisk. Some seller on eBay uses their adorable grandmother to hold every item. I quite like this. And if I too had an adorable grandmother, I might use her too. I'm not a fan of live models in your listings, but if you have an adorable grandmother, put her in here. This was awesome because it made me smile the first time. It made me feel all warm and fuzzy on the inside. And even though the stuff that she's selling, cowboy prints, I'm a big cowboy fan. I looked through all the listings because it was fun to see grandma. So I do like this. But that is, you better have a real cute grandma. All right, so let's talk about grouping. This grouping is not bad except for why are we on the floor and why are we so far away from it? Get up on your subject. Again, here's a grouping. Don't do straight lines, especially when you have multiple items, because straight lines make your item long and skinny. Square it up. And also, again, why are we so far away? Get up on it. Now, they got up on it, and this is fine. There is nothing absolutely wrong with this, but I like my groupings again, we can put flair into it when we do groupings. So here is a Tiki listing I did a long time ago. There is nothing good in this listing. Zero good things in this listing. It's all crappy stuff that is worth about, I don't know, $5 to $8 each. And I got like $85 for this lot because I made it a lot, but also I made this nice grouping shot. Now, if you notice, you cannot see fully really anything because things are obscured by other things, but that's fine. We'll do that in the rest of the pictures. But this is my opening shot. It's a nice tight grouping. And I think people, caught someone's eye. And this didn't last too long. I don't have the picture currently, but I was at Nadine's house one time and I did it. She had a bunch of crappy things. So I'm like, I'm going to go make a lot for you. And she didn't have this fun little bamboo background like I have. And we'll talk about that in a sec. But she had a nice big Hawaiian shirt she was selling. So I just grabbed that and made that the background. And I am also, as I am not one for human models, I'm also not one for the crazy backgrounds. But when you're known as a tiki seller, tiki mug seller, and you have this distinctive background that you use every single time, your customers start to recognize your stuff. So I wouldn't do it for everything, but if you are specifically a seller of one specific thing that you're known for, and you can give yourself a little flair over your competition, I do recommend it. Now, speaking of groupings, this is a picture of cassettes. And so they did this long grouping and it's out of focus. So that's not attractive. This one at least has it in focus, but they use the flash. And I haven't said it yet. Do not use your flash. Flash changes the coloring of things. That's why we have the light boxes or the light umbrellas. And another reason you don't use your flash. Okay, what are the 8 titles on the middle row? I don't know. I can't see. The flash got in the way. Don't do that. Now, when I do groupings of cassettes, I make them kind of a neat pile. So this looks like a pile, but you can see a lot of things. You can see there's Derek from the Dominoes. You can see there's Alice Cooper, Nazareth. I can see Jimi Hendrix peeking out. I can see some Deep Purple, Santana, Boston. And if you don't know, if you don't recognize these, then you wouldn't be the customer anyway. But a customer looking for classic rock cassettes would stop and look at this, and they would notice almost every cassette in there. And I did realize, because my light source off to the right, you can't see the two to the right. But for the most part, you can see everything, and it paints quite a good picture. Now, we're going to talk tiki mugs because that's what I look at the most on eBay, but I want to show you some what not to do's and what to do's. This is a cardboard box. This was their lead photo. This is what they're selling, but for some reason, they thought they should lead with a cardboard box. Yeah, let's not do that. Let's lead with your actual product, of course. And I think they're a little too close on the product. You got to back up a smidge. Now, this is a tiki mug, although it looks like a skull. It is a tiki mug. They took it straight on. Most tiki mugs have a lot of depth and 3D. Now, of course, everything's 3D, but if it's just a round mug, they're like this, yeah, it's 3D, but there's not really much depth to it. This has depth. If we shoot straight on, oops, sorry. If we shoot straight on, it flans it out. But look at this. If we turn it, man, we see all kinds of angles. So let's go back to the skull. So this is what one seller did, straight on. This is what I did. Gave it an angle, gave it my backdrop, and now we can see all kinds of stuff. And I'll give you another example. Here is a Frankenstein mug straight on. Here is a Frankenstein mug with just a tilt, a little bit to one way. And as you can see, it gives it depth and gives it more personality. And again, we're giving it some flair. This is what I use to make mine stand out. I'm still using the same backdrop. I use these I use 2 rolls of a little thin bamboo grass mat and this bamboo picture and this lei to separate the seam. And that is my easy, quick backdrop for my tiki mugs and makes me stand out and makes my customers remember me. So that's another tool alert. Now, when you have multiple objects like we talked about, you don't have to line them up. Sophia did this where this was the opening shot. 3 plastic Playboy mugs, and I kind of liked it. You see they're all 3 of them are there, but it's giving it a different flair. It's giving it a different angle. It's making you stand out from the pack. Again, if I would have taken this shot of this penguin straight on, his beak wouldn't look all that prominent, but I threw him at an angle. Boom. We can see his beak. We see his feet. We see how his wings are. And then this baseball bat. Now, the one thing I would have changed about this baseball bat, I would have put it angle to angle. So when you sell thin objects like baseball bat, pens and stuff, instead of taking the picture like this, take it like this. Fill the whole screen, angle to angle, top to bottom. Now, the one thing I did do on this one was instead of taking a picture of the whole bat as the first picture, I took a picture of the logo. So at least I filled it up a little bit differently, because if I took the whole bat, it'd be really skinny. And we don't want to be skinny. I mean, we want to be skinny. We don't want our pictures to be skinny. And then I've got this little Bowling for Soup. They're a band towel. And we could have just shot a picture of it straight up and down, but we like this angle better because when you're scrolling, when people scroll through on their phones, things that aren't normally at an angle, when they show up at an angle, makes it stand out. I've started to do that with my CDs. So CDs used to be just straight on, and now CDs are this way. So when you look at it on eBay, if everyone else is straight on and mine's on this angle, the customer's eye stops. The whole goal is to get your customer's eye to stop and then be attractive enough to go, oh, I need to click this. And I should have moved this back up with the shoes, but here are salt and pepper shakers. I never, and I mean never, see any sellers of salt and pepper shakers ever show a front and a back in the same opening photo. Now, if you have a salt and pepper that's 2 different things, yes, both fronts. If you have a salt and pepper that is the exact same thing, 1 front, 1 back. That way it paints the entire picture for your customer. Okay, some more things not to do. This listing was for the 2 mugs. The doll is not part of the listing, and it said, doll not included. Now, I am guessing they were trying to do a Jason T. Smith and have a distinctive backdrop, but it sucked because I would expect this doll to be in my box when I open the box. Again, they're trying to be artistic, but it's kind of failing. If you saw this picture actually live and not a little bit muted on YouTube, these 2 neon orange and greens next to each other really mess with your brain. and it actually is painful to look at. So although it will stand out, they're too far away from the actual item, and it hurts your eyes. So you don't want to hurt people's eyes. And you do not rub your eyes. Do not adjust your YouTube screen. These are blurry, and that's how these pictures were taken and posted. And you never, ever want to do that. Now we're going to jump out of Tiki Mugs and show you some more. This was a lead photo of a book. Yes, it is as blurry as it seems to you. This was the lead photo of this little toy. Yes, again, very blurry. Again, here's a little medallion, very blurry. But look, here, I just took a picture of a pin. If you can focus, you can take clear photos of small things. So I don't want to hear no excuses that, well, it's small, I couldn't get focused. I can. You should be able to too. Now, when you take pictures of glassware, you do want to fill the glassware with something because it doesn't show up well, and take the picture on a black background. I'll show you in a minute why. However, don't do it this way. So, lead photo. Only filled half the object with white, and their black background is a sweater with hair all over it. Yuck. And then they just had tons of pictures. Oh, now we're blurry. Okay, it's getting worse. And now we can see, oh, there's a dining room table and the chairs. More pictures, more pictures. Like they had the right idea, but their execution was absolutely terrible. And this one is a clear glass with white writing. They put it on black. This picture is a little wonky, but now they got it on half black, 1/4 white, 1/4 wallpaper, and blurry. No, no, and no. Mostly I tell you to do anything white or light or pastel on black because it really pops, but even this I kind of liked on the black. Halloween made it look really cool and sinister. These are some mugs that are currently for sale. On black, it pops really nice. And instead of doing 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, instead of doing 10 things in a row to make it long and skinny, Sophia made a pyramid, gave it a nice square, gave it some flair and some artisticness. And then you can see how nice the black looks when she's shooting the bottom of the glassware. And here we are, a glass on black, stands out, looks phenomenal. But I do notice a little bit of fingerprints that you might not be able to see, and so I wish I would have rubbed them out. But it will show the flaws in the fingerprints, but you should clean it. But it looks so good on black. And here was a 7-glass set with a tray, and so I filled milk in the glass to be able to show off the glass better, but all in the black really popped nice. And this is just a mug we just did. It looks really great on the black too. And even this, Sophia threw Sully up on the black, and I'm like, oh, it looks cool. It looked better than being on the light gray background. Speaking of backgrounds, here's all my options. So the top one is the photo gray that I've shown you. And then we have the black velvet. And the velvet I just got from Joann Fabrics. And what I did was I took a white coffee mug with me. I walked down to Joann's and I grabbed every black velvet and I went to a corner and I would take the coffee mug on one black velvet. I'd go look at it, take it again, another black velvet till I found the velvet that I liked. Then we do have white, some things that are super black we do on white, and then we do have a dark blue. So we do have kind of 4 options for our backdrop. The first one is what I bought on eBay, the photo gray. The black velvet I got from Joann's, and then the white was a sheet from Goodwill, and the blue was a sheet from my house that we didn't use anymore. Speaking of white, do not take white objects on a white background. Are you kidding me right now? It might show okay to you on your computer, but can you imagine looking at this on a phone? Are you kidding me right now? And then every once in a blue moon, you do have to use something for scale. This giant frog wasn't going to really show up as big as it is. So throwing a Coke can in there definitely helped give it scale. You don't have to have scale and everything, but only things that need scale. Hey, Katie, I've seen a couple questions go by that I don't see in our chat, so could you go back and grab those, please? Speaking of things you should not have in your picture for scale, let's count the number of measuring tapes in this listing for a bikini. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, I get what they're doing. They're showing the sizes specifically for a, did I say bikini? One-piece swimsuit. I get it, but this is so overly distracting that I just can't even imagine that you think this is good. And they do all their listings like this. Oops, wrong computer. Now, shiny objects, the key to photographing a shiny object like a vinyl record is if you put it straight on, you're going to see the reflection of you. If you just angle it back just enough that you're not in it, then no you. So you do not see me in this record, or Sophia. I can't remember who took this. And I'm sure we have all seen the infamous teapot where the guy was naked taking pictures of his teapot. Now, did he do it on purpose, or was it just like, oops? Who knows? It's, you know, it's been around for a long time, but you got to find the angle in shiny stuff that you don't show up in there. Now, what we use is this little table for the backdrop to put our objects, our smaller objects like tiki mugs and stuff on. And again, an epiphany moment for the assistant before Sophia. We would take the table off and then, you know, shoot mannequin stuff. Then we'd pull the backdrop up. We'd set the table down and then drape the backdrop over it. And then one day, my assistant's like, why don't we just put it behind the backdrop, push it back when we don't need it, pull it forward when we do? And I'm like, duh. Why it takes so long to figure that out? And then I think this is the last tool I'm going to show you is the little plate holder that you can always find at thrift stores and garage sales. And then a doll holder. So here are two objects we used for them. And then here they are. Now, whoops. Sophia took this white doll holder and clear plate holder on the gray backdrop yesterday. I go, Sophia, really? They don't show up. But I said, go back and do it again. So she shot it on the blue to show you how things react differently and will stand out. So look how much better that stands out. And she did it on the black. Again, bam, pops. So that's just a quick demonstration of how your backdrop can really change the look of your item. Now, I wanted to go do it with the glass. Now, this is another little bolo. If you find this atomic starburst glass, I sell them for a lot of money. I've found them a couple times. So here it is on that gray, just looking okay. Here it is on the blue, looking a little better. And then here it is on the black, looking awesome. Now, what Sophia just did today that we had never thought about, a lot of times I use milk, because if you use peanuts, there's all this kind of dead space in between the peanuts, and it just doesn't look right. Milk fills the glass up nicely. But she took one of these single air pillows. Now, unfortunately, it had writing on it, so we need to find one without writing. And she stuck it in, and I really like how it filled up this glass. I really like it. I think it's cool. I think I'm going to use this. So there is an instance where an assistant just doing their own thing said, oh, I'm going to try this, and it looks good. And here it is on the black. So very cool. Very cool. All right. So this is me working out of a big house. What do you do if you live in a tiny little house, or if you're on the road like Mary Lucas, or in these one of these little tiny houses? So I had Nadine take some shots for me today. So this is a picture of a little halter top that Nadine's selling on eBay, and it's a very nice shot. The lighting's good, the coloring's right, but you'll be surprised to see where this is hanging. Yeah, right above her bathtub, and she's like me, but she doesn't have this whole fancy backdrop. She has a glass block window to her left, and living in Philadelphia, unlike Vegas, she has a lot of overcast days. And so taking this shot, it's really good. So here's another shot, and look at that. It hangs off the sconce, the light built into the wall. So there ain't nothing fancy to it, but look how nice it looks. It looks really, really good. So she was utilizing her space. Now, Nadine lives in a 4-story thin little house, like there's like one room per floor kind of thing, and so there's not a lot of space. All right, so here is her actual bathroom, the shot where she uses her stuff. Now, another thing she does, which is pretty cool, look how nice this Mickey Mouse looks. This is gorgeous. You'll be surprised to see where this is in the bathtub. So she sets her smaller objects on a nice overcast day because she's got this white kind of acting as a light enhancer, and she just gets in the bathtub and takes a shot. And so she is finding that unused space, so to speak, in her house and taking great shots. Now, here's her kitchen, and this is pictures from her kitchen. Look how great that looks. But what I want to show you is she has all this underneath lighting from the up top cabinets. And here's a shot on white of some yarn. And here's a Cutco knife block that she's currently working on. And she uses the tri-fold poster board. You can pick up at like Walmart or Office Max or any of those. And so you don't have to have this huge backdrop. You can just have this 3-fold poster board in white and black. And then you take these shots. So you would never know that great picture of the teapot is just sitting on her kitchen counter next to the utensil holder, next to the coffee holder. Easy peasy. And then there's the Cutco. So when you do a little bit of cropping, you don't know all that stuff's around. And then what precipitated me doing photos is a lot of you participate in the social media share thread and the thrifting board every day. And some people take some really bad photos. Now, here is a cute white mug. This is the lead photo. This white mug should not be on a white background. It bleeds away. And don't forget, you're looking at it probably on a computer. Look at it on your phone. It's even worse. And they cut the handle off. You have all this space the other side of the mug. Move your camera over. Move the mug over. And then this one right here is, I get what they were going for. They wanted to show all 3 angles of this mug in the opening picture, but it's so small, it doesn't look good. So now I'm going to show you how to take the back of your object and stick it in the picture of the front of your object in one picture. So we're going to do questions in a minute, but let me do a live demonstration here. So let me put that down, stop sharing for a quick second. And so if you have any questions that you want answered, feel free to pop them up. All right, so we want this. Come on, open up and that. There we go. Okay, I think the way I'm going to do this is going to work, so you guys should be able to see it just fine. So give me a quick sec to set it up. And entire screen share. Okay, here we see it. All right, cool. So here's a picture of the back and the front of a Frankie's mug. Now, what I want to do is I want to crop it just to the word Frankie's, really. So on Apple in preview, where you just open a picture, there's a little toolbox up at the top. So you want to click that and click where you want to start your cut and then drag. And you can do that with a mouse too. I was doing my finger on my Magic Trackpad. So I want to crop it down to that. So as you can see up at the right-hand corner, it says crop, and it's cropped. So now I have this nice little photo of just Frankie. So I'm going to close that out so it saves it, and then I'll reopen it here real quick. There we go. So now I'm going to go up to edit and click copy of the Frankie. So it's now copied. So now I'm going to go over to this picture and I'm going to paste it. Now it looks like it's kind of in our way, but I am going to shrink it down here a little bit and set it right here in the corner. And go a little bit smaller. There we go. So this way, in our lead picture, you can see the whole front of the mug with angles and what's on the back of the mug. So like that one person tried to do with the 3 pictures, but it made it too small. This is what I've come up with. So now once I close this, it'll now save it as one picture. There we go. And when I reopen it, now, of course, I don't got my backdrop up. I just did this on my desk. But now we have the front of the mug and the back of the mug in the opening shot. It is not that hard to do. It is just a quick copy. It's a quick crop, copy, and paste. That's it. And once you close it out, it automatically saves it. So that is how you do that. Now, I wouldn't recommend that for everything, but certain things like this, because also like with tiki mugs, there will be a ton of mugs that look like this. And then in the back, we'll have the name of the place that they came from or on the bottom. So my opening shot is going to be this, but then I'm going to have a cutout of where it's from on the side. This one's a plain one, so I don't need to do it. But if I've got one from a rare place, even though I've got in my title, I want the customer to see it. My eyes don't lie. All right, cool. Let's get to your questions. Susan Callahan, camera settings, please. I'm going to save that for when I have the expert on. I'm really not good at that. I am good at editing after the fact. And actually, let's pop back into here and edit this photo a little bit. So I'll show you that. So another thing that you can do in Apple Preview, which is just the most basic way to do photos. So it's not Photoshop, it's not anything important. In your toolbox, you see this little pyramid right here. When you click that pyramid, that is how you adjust your colors. So there's an auto levels. So you can click that and it'll change the color a little bit. Didn't really do anything. But we can change the exposure. So now we're really light or we're really dark. We can change the contrast. Woo! And then blown out. We can change the highlights. Now, where this comes in handy is certain colors, purples, reds, that aquamarine, obviously, don't picture too well. And even white. When you take a picture of a white object on a dark background, it does mute the whole picture. So you're going to want to go into your editing a little bit and lighten it up. Now, this is where I said, don't go past. Don't make it way more whiter than it actually is, but clean it up a little bit. So you got tint, you've got temperature and saturation. So what you should do is hold your object, look at your computer screen, and work on these until you get it right. Now, don't go down the rabbit hole of editing, because I've seen people who edit one picture for 20 minutes. But if it needs tweaking, if it needs a little bit of tweaking, do it. And again, the changes won't take hold until you click save. All right. All right. But for actual settings on this, because we're going to talk about white balance, we're going to talk about f-stop probably. We're going to talk about a few things. I want to have the expert tell us, because I'm not all that good at it. Once I get my stuff set, I can't ever change it because it takes me forever to set it. So I want the person who can help us really tell us exactly. Mary Purdue would like to know what material you use for your backdrops. So those are all, I'm assuming, cotton, I guess. I don't know. You know, my sheets are cotton, that's for sure. And then whatever velvet's made out of. But the photo gray is a photo backdrop. So specifically made to be a photo backdrop. And it came with the whole rigging, the bars and everything. Sabrina, which are better, the umbrellas or light boxes? Now, that'll be a good question, Sabrina. What I need you to do is come back in the day we had the professional, because I've only ever used light boxes. Now, I know maybe some of you watching, some of you definitely in the Secret Beach and the Thrifting Board have used umbrellas. And I would actually like to know, because I always like to toy with things like maybe I should switch it up and try umbrellas next. So definitely if the professional has an opinion, we'll definitely hear it. TRJ Classics, can you share a link to the light box that you recommend? Now, I bought mine a long time ago. So all you need to look for is one that has either 4 lights or 5 lights, because inside that light box, it's a reflective material and it pushes it towards your object. And then it's got the white covering and then it diffuses it, because if that wasn't there, it'd be all kinds of shiny on your object, but that diffuses it. So you want ones that hold 4 or 5. And then typically they have a switch for every light bulb on the back. At least mine do. So if all suddenly you're doing something where there's like, ooh, too much light, but if you knock off a switch of maybe every one, just one switch, and then it's just enough light. So you actually can play with how much light your object gets. Todd and Jennifer, what camera is it again? It is right here. It is the Canon PowerShot SX700 HS with Wi-Fi. Oh, I can get it the focus. There it is. Sabrina, now I know I'm going to say this question out loud because I know that it got answered in the chat, but of course, if you're watching afterwards, you don't see the chat. Are there tripods for iPads, iPad Pros, and iPhones? Yes, absolutely. There's also iPad holders that also, it's a combo, iPad, toilet paper roll. You can figure out what that's for. But yes, anything, any iPad, any iPhone, any kind of camera thing that comes out, people always invent and create cool holders for them. So yes, if you're using your iPad, and the iPad's great, especially the Pro. I mean, this screen is so big. So this is your camera, because it's got a really good camera, and you're setting it right here. You're really seeing, the picture nice and big on here. So that's pretty impressive. Classy Souls. I just asked Griff about race yesterday, and he replied that the subject should fill the viewfinder, not square the subject as long or tall. And he also mentioned that in his photo workshop. This is where I disagree with Griff. eBay gives us square photos. So why give up real estate? Because it to me, it's silly. So let me show you a quick example here. I should have had a picture in there. So let's go eBay. And let's go Tiki Mug, because I know there'll be some there. Okay. See this blue right here? Oops. Helps put on the screen. See the blue? See the white on either side? That is because the seller, the seller did not square it up and fill up the space. So they've given up real estate. They didn't use everything that eBay gave them. All these pictures are up and down. Look at this one. Look how much real estate has been given up on this mug right here, this $100 mug. Let's see if anybody squares it up. Oh, hey, look at that. Frankenstein squared up. Now, see the difference? Filled the space, and then they threw the swizzles in there to give it a cool little flair to it. But don't give up real estate. Do not. So this is where I've heard Griff say that. This is where I differ. Now, you don't have to square up every photo. I do. You don't have to, but I definitely recommend you square up your first photo. Todd and Jennifer, for t-shirts, polo, knit shirts, have you ever used a clip or some sort to pull back the extra fabric? Hey, Todd and Jennifer, I'm glad you said that, because I just happen to have this right here. So one thing I forgot to put in here. Have some clips. Potato chip clips are fine. When you're doing a 5X shirt, I don't expect you to have a 5X mannequin. Shirts go up to 10X. So if you happen to find a 10X shirt, buy it, flip it. What you're going to need to do is get it on your mannequin or on a big hanger, or you use a pool noodle on a hanger for the shoulders, but you're still going to need to pull the material back. So take the material, pull it back, and then clip it. And that way the front will look good. Then when you flip it to the back, then pull back the front, because the front's not on the back, and clip it. And that way it's not all sad and it's looking good. What kind of stuff do you shoot on the blue? We don't use the blue too often, but what we'll do is if we're using something light and it just didn't work on the black for whatever reason, Sophia will try on the blue. So the blue does not show up in too often, but sometimes you just take on the black and it sucks it out. And so we tried the blue, and the blue works. Mary Purdue, eBay says to use white backgrounds or Google will not pick up your auctions for SEO, search engine optimization. Will you continue to use blue background or black or stylized such as bamboo or Hawaiian prints? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I realize that even Amazon tells you to do that. But that gray is so light, that photo gray, it will react. I am pretty sure, I'm not 100%, but I'm like 97.3%, pretty sure that it'll react the same way in Google picking it up. But my backdrop for Tiki mugs, I sell a lot of Tiki mugs. I have sold a lot. I continue to sell a lot. I sell thousands a year. So apparently it's getting out there somehow. People are finding them, so I'm not changing that a bit. But if you're new and you're going to follow all the rules to optimization, I would recommend that. But if you're established and you've got a specialty where you throw a little flair to the background, I recommend that too. Susan, aside from the 1-to-1 ratio setting on camera, what other settings do you use as your standard settings? Not much. I set up the white balance a little bit. And this we'll talk about with a professional photographer. You set your aperture, I think it is. See, I might be using the wrong terms. You keep your lens open for a long time when you're shooting glow-in-the-dark stuff actually glowing. You can't just snap a picture. It needs to be open for a long time. And so that's where I get a little tricky, where I'm like, what do I do the settings? So we will talk about all of that. Todd and Jennifer, Apple Preview is on your computer or your phone. Apple Preview is on the computer. All you do is go to any picture you have on your computer and open it, and it automatically opens it in Preview. And Preview has minimalist editing software in it. Crop, as you saw, changing colors, copy and then into paste. So it's not like, full on like Nadine can make some crazy art like she does on Photoshop, but it'll do the job for those of us who just need a little bit, just a little bit of tweaking. Can you use that editor program if you don't have an Apple computer? Well, that's part of Apple. I would assume PCs have something along the same lines. I don't happen to have a PC in the house right now, but the next time I'm at like Vicky's house, I will look at her PC and see what it has. So I assume all computers have a little bit of something that lets you edit for free. And then if you want to go bigger, then you go get Photoshop or one of those. And then Susan wants to know if there's any non-Apple users in the chat. So did anyone answer? Picasa 3 is a pretty good free editor on Google, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't used it in forever, but I used to use Picasa, and I think that's still available. Let's see here. Where are we? Jerry, how far apart are the lights? Good question. I would like them to be further apart, but the way my bathroom is built, the way my bathtub is built, the way the ceiling is built, they're at the maximum distance away. And so I don't know what the optimum distance is, but I am limited by the way that that corner of the house is built. And so they are where they are. But what you are going to want to do is if you have bigger space, you know, to really put them out a little further than you think. Look, take a picture, go look at it on a computer, go look at it on a phone, and then adjust. You'll find with anything like this, you're going to find that you will find what you like, but it's going to be a little bit of trial and error. Just like me finding the photo studio in the house. I did it here, I did it there. I'm like, oh, bathtub, trial and error. So, and I am sure if we Google what is the exact correct great distance for lights, I'm sure there should be something, but it is also going to pertain to how your room is set up. Classy Souls. Okay, what about full shot of the mannequin? Yeah, I showed it to you when I had the Stars and Stripes suit. So yeah, I don't square those up because there's no point. So when I do that full shot of a snowsuit, the full shot, I just take a picture. I just take a picture, and it's just going to be a rectangular up and down skinny picture. But that's never, ever, ever my lead photo. But yeah, always take the up and downs, full mannequin. Now let me tell you, if you do a little tidbit, a little extra here. If you do use a full mannequin with legs, they are a bitch to wrestle. You got to be a big dude, a big lady. You got to, because you got to have, not only do you got to be a little bit strong to dress it, you got to get it off the pole. So you got to pick up this full, basically you're picking up another body. You got to pick up this full mannequin. And so those of you who are short out there, hey, Sabrina, you might not be able to do it. So just as a heads up. So don't see one, get all excited, bring it home, and then realize it. If you're going to buy one, wherever you're buying it, see if you can get it up off the stand, because then you're going to need to dress it. It is definitely helpful to have two people on days you're doing full suits. So I don't ever do the photos. That's my assistant's job. But on days we're doing snowsuits or anything that needs a full thing, it is way easier for me to go in there, pick it up. She then throws the clothes on. We set it back on the stand, and then we finish getting it dressed. And it goes so much quicker. It's silly for me to pay her to do it by herself, struggling. She's short. No way. It's way quicker for me to be there for a little bit. And then we just do those all at once. Like we would never do like one thing today and one thing tomorrow. We do them all at once. Sabrina, do you suggest the different apps that are available to use? Yeah, absolutely. So if anyone's in Picasa, GIMP is another one. As Michael said, it's free, but it has a steep learning curve. Paint.net is a good editor. So yeah, just Google picture editors. There's tons of them out there, but use the one. So Picasa, Pixlr, GIMP, which is probably GIMP. Paint.net, those all can be used. But if you have an Apple computer, you can do the basics really, really, really easy. If you want to go a little bit deeper, then you can. But I suggest that you do the basics first. But here's the thing. If you have your lights set up right, like we don't have to edit coloring or lighting up pictures at all. Hardly ever. It's just when we have white things and every once in a while, a red just doesn't turn out, you know, it's like bright red and it turned out fire engine red or vice versa. So then I got to tweak it a little bit because I don't want to have unrealistic expectations from the customer and then an unhappy customer. All right. So I hope that y'all got something out of that. I hope there are some light bulbs going off about where you could set it up, how to take pictures, how to make them look better. And it's all about catching your customer's eye and standing out from the competition. My tiki mug listings look much better than about 70% of the rest of the tiki mugs. So when I'm selling mugs that 8 of us are selling, if someone's just scrolling, mine's going to catch their eye over somebody else's. Frankie's bearded clam. So let's look at the bearded clam mug. Ooh, do I have one for sale right now? Yeah. Okay. So here's the first two. Oh, it helps to put a K in Frankie's. There we go. Okay, so the first one, they give up real estate, and it's just they're using a white mug on a white background. The second one, it's got this Hawaiian shirt background. That's fine, stands out. There's another one giving up real estate, and then there's mine. So think about when you're scrolling, and if you're going to scroll all of them, I feel mine is definitely more eye appealing, and as you can see, I fill the space. No other seller fills the space. They all have white bars on the left and the right of the photo, and mine fills the space very well. And then when you go into my listing, I fill the space with every picture. Even though this is a thin up and down item, we just fill the space very nicely. All right. So there you go. I'm not going to say intro to photography, but how to tweak and make your photos better by use of tools, lighting, software, and just ingenuity. You know, Sophia sticking this in the glass today, it gives me the desired look I want. I can see the design on the glass better, and it really filled it nice and gave it a little bit of extra flair, and I like it. So always experiment. And that's where if you do this by yourself, once you get set in your ways, you're like, I'm still taking pictures like it's 2002. But if you have an assistant or someone who comes in part-time, or you do this with a partner or a buddy or a spouse or a significant other, let the person play a little bit. Let them have, teach them, and then let the reins off a little bit, because you never know when the next, like, oh, this is awesome, is coming from. It happened today. It'll happen next week. It'll happen next month. So play with it. Never get stuck don't get set in your ways. So I want to thank 2 people for their help today. Well, actually 3, I'm sorry. Sophia took all the pictures for me. Katie was feeding me the questions, so thank you very much, Katie. And Nadine helped me out because she's like, you should talk about tiny places like my house. I'm like, oh, can you take some pictures real quick? So she helped me out there for those of you who are on the smaller side of your living area. So I hope that helped. And feel free, those of you who are watching after the fact, feel free to ask any questions on the post. I'll be more than happy to help, or even on here on the video. I'll be more than happy to help. And I got to go get ready, because now I got to make a presentation for tonight's first meetup. And then tomorrow I'm doing a thrift haul. Thursday, Thrifty Business Show. Friday is our guest webinar for this month, Teresa Cox. We're going to do promoted listings. I think no show Saturday. And then Sunday, my mom and I show. So a lot of content coming out this week, because I'll be gone for 2 weeks after that. So this way you guys can have all kinds of stuff to watch, and then I'll be back. So thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this. Hope you learned something. I hope a light bulb went off. And have a great day, and I'll see you again tomorrow for a thrift haul. Yeah.